Right, welcome back to Tell Me Your LFC Story. This is part 2 with Seano. So I'm sorry about before, Seano. I had to go and pick my daughter up. I wasn't expecting to finish till 6.
That's okay. Most people
so
don't have much time for me anyway.
Well, we were planning on doing it right through, weren't we? And then
Yeah.
possibly ending it at the end. But, oh, well, we've got 2 parts now.
There you go.
Got lucky.
Spoiling the viewers and subscribers. Do you know what I mean?
So, in the previous episode, just a quick recap, just 10 seconds. We covered, just bear with me a second. I have not had a chance to breathe since part 1. We did Seano's why he became a Liverpool fan. We did his first game. We did his favourite players. We did his all-time Liverpool Premier League team. We did his memorable game. So now we're up to his Legends meet and greet. So everybody better get settled because there's a lot of these to get through. So where do you want to start, Sean?
I am blessed with a lot of the legends. I've gone to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 legends.
Wow.
The first one was in the Camden in Dublin, and the Camden is a fairly kind of, I saw, or apparently Emma Louise Jones from Leeds United TV was at it there the other week, and I was nearly thinking of popping in and saying hello to Emma Louise, I'll tell you. But yeah, Robbie Fowler and John Aldridge were on this, the first one. And I have a bit of history with John Aldridge. My sister lives over in Liverpool, or she lives in Southport, and she graduated the same time as John Aldridge's daughter.
Wow.
And John Aldridge had done kind of a Eurostar or X Factor, but with celebrities in Ireland. And his song was, his speciality, or his song that he liked to sing, was called Lily the Pink. So fast forward, I'm at the my sister's graduation in the big cathedral, and who is sitting in front of us? Only John Aldridge.
Nice. My
mother sees him and starts singing Lily the Pink to him throughout the whole ceremony. So fast forward again when I'm at the Camden, and it was a really good event. It was organised by Off the Ball, which is an Irish thing. You may have seen Gary Neville and Roy Keane on it, but they had Robbie Fowler and John Aldridge, and there's a meet and greet upstairs, but I didn't actually get to do a meet and greet with them. Robbie Fowler just walked away if you went and said hello to him. But I put my hand out to John Aldridge and I said, John, I owe you an apology. So he actually stopped and he says, what for, lad? Well, I said, your daughter's graduation, my mother sang Lily the Pink to you the whole time. He fucking remembered.
No
he
way.
says, oh, fucking hell, that's right. And just, he says, what the hell is she doing? But he started laughing. And I swear to God, that made my day. I didn't get a signature or anything like that, or an autograph or whatever. The next one is actually a pub, a little pub off the beaten track in Bluebell near Crumlin in Dublin. And it's actually closed down now. It's a place called the Cottage Inn Bar and Grill. And it's organised by certain Dublin supporters groups. But we had, originally it was meant to be John Barnes and Dean Saunders. Dean Saunders couldn't go, so it was Don Hutchinson. So John Barnes came in and he, some fantastic stories. Of course, he did the Anfield rap, brilliant. And but we actually got into the back to see him. Like it was a very, very small pub. And like if he, had a break or whatever, we'd go, we'd have get him a drink or whatever, or he'd sign something. I had a jersey, an old Candy jersey, which he signed, and
Nice.
oh my God, I like what I said to that man. I'm surprised he doesn't have a burn order on me. I just said I love you. I just said I love you. So that was the second one. The third one was something that I was looking forward to because I was originally meant to go over to Navan in County Meath to watch a Liverpool Legends meet and greet, and unfortunately it was cancelled. So there was one person that I wanted to see, and again, the same place, the Cottage Bar or the Cottage Inn Bar and Grill, Ray Houghton and Jan Mulby.
Nice. One of my favourite players, Jan Mulby.
And Ray Houghton. So again, I'm at it, and I have the same jersey as I have the signature of John Barnes, and I'm thinking, right, this is what I'm going to use now for getting signatures on whatever. Ray Houghton, love him to death, and I had a friend who hadn't been well for a while, and I got him to do a video, saying hello and whatever about himself and Jan Mulby. And I have a bit of a tremor on my hand. So I was trying to take a selfie between myself and Jan Mulby because I had already done one with Ray Houghton. And Ray noticed the tremor in my hand. He actually held it so that I could take the picture.
Wow.
Now, for me, that meant the world because I'm very, very conscious of this shake. I don't know why I have it or whatever, but he saw it and he like tried to just steady my hand so I could get a proper picture, which I did. And one of the things that I have hanging up is a picture of myself and Jan Mulby in the background there, and that's my prized possession. Possession. Absolute salt of the earth Ray Houghton. I then was at the Clonsilla Inn. This was with D15, some good friends off that. And I'm not part of D15, so they were kind of allowing kind of guests in and from other parts of the country. And again, John Aldridge and Ray Houghton were at it. And again, some of the stories, they had some lovely stories about Jack Charlton, some of the antics, with Paul McGrath. I suppose there was a bit of a drinking culture back with Jack Charlton. There's a kind of a story that went around that, Jack Charlton never put his hand in his pocket to buy any drinks, because if he went to the west of Ireland, drinks were bought. I mean, another thing, I don't know whether you remember this, when John Aldridge was coming on the pitch in USA 94, and the fourth official wouldn't allow him. And we were kind of down to 10 men, and whatever way they had taken off the subs, they didn't allow John Aldridge on. So there was a big upheaval. John Aldridge was like, "You fucking prick, you this, you that, and whatever," giving out shit and whatever. And Jack Charlton got a fine from FIFA. And again, the people of Ireland did a whip around and paid the fine for him. So that just goes to show, but again, these were, amazing stories that John Aldridge and Ray Houghton had. And of course, he put the ball in the English net as well. And obviously Ray Houghton scored that amazing goal in Giant Stadium against Italy. So there was amazing stories back and forth with John Aldridge and Ray Houghton. And the fact, obviously, they have that Irish connection as well. You'd be actually surprised with their view of the owners. You'd be very, yes, Very,
Wow.
very surprised. Very, very surprised. This was before like the big summer that we've had, and they basically said they need to spend money. They need to invest in the squad, and you don't get that on the likes of Sky Sports or a lot of the content creators. And they said it. They said it there, and there was another one in the National Concert Hall. Ronnie Whelan, which I was dying to see Ronnie Whelan, Steve McMahon, and Jan Moby again. And again, Ronnie Whelan and Steve McMahon, they all said they need to invest. They need to invest in the squad. There was a really, really funny story with Steve McMahon. Like, he's a grumpy, angry guy. You wouldn't want to mess with him. One of my friends, he's about 6'3". Like, he's like an absolute built like a shipwreck. Like, he's massive. And Steve McMahon was like he didn't like Bruce Grobbler. He had fights with Bruce Grobbler. I think he didn't like Doug Leash and all of that. So he's there. I don't give a fuck if you're recording or not. But here was my friend, and he was recording, and he had the flash on. And Steve McMahon pointed at him in the middle of the talk and said, "Are you recording me?" And my mate was like, no. And like, he stayed quiet the whole night. He was absolutely shocked that Steve McMahon started having a go at him. But he was really, really fiery. I don't think Jan Moby got a word in edgeways with him. It was mainly Steve McMahon giving out about his, some of the players that he played for or some of the players that he played with at Liverpool. The next one, again, the Cottage Inn Bar and Grill, which I'm absolutely devastated that's closed down now. Bruce Grobbler and Sammy Lee. Again, I was with another friend, and there was the replica Big Ears and the FA Cup. So I'm getting pictures with this, and my mate says, Sean, look behind you. And there comes in Bruce Grobbler, Sammy Lee, and Peter Dowell. Or is it Peter Dowell or Peter, from LFC TV?
Yeah, the presenter.
The presenter. So he was there. And I'm turning around, oh my God, oh my Jesus Christ, like whatever. And I says, hello, how are you, whatever. Sammy Lee comes up to me. He says, hi, I'm Sammy Lee. I was like, Sammy, I know who you are, And I said to Peter, Peter, here, take that and take a picture. Of course, this was a bit of a laughing thing with myself and my mate. It's like, Sean, you're after telling an LFC presenter to take a picture of you, Bruce Grobbler and Sammy Lee. Again, that's another picture. I actually have that on canvas, which I've yet to hang up. But the same year that I was going to my sister's graduation, I went into a hotel and I met Bruce Grobbler. He was watching the golf and he's had a few drinks and whatever. And my mother had gone up to him and said, my son is a big fan. And I was like Porky the Pig. I couldn't get a word in edgeways. Like, I was like, I didn't know what the fuck to say to the man. So when I had met him in the Cottage Inn, I said, I actually met you a couple of years ago. And I showed him the picture. Really, really nice guy. His signature. Again, all of these jerseys are signed by them. Barnes, Houghton, Moby, Ronnie Whelan, Steve McMahon, Bruce Grobbler, Sammy Lee. I didn't get a signature of Don Hood because I couldn't give a fuck. Couldn't have given a shit with his signature. I don't think I even got a picture with. Oh no, I did, but I was like, yeah, you needn't bother signing. I mean, you went off to Everton, whatever. But that was a really, really good night. And then the last one in the Cottage Inn was again Ronnie Whelan and Emil Heskey. So I got to kind of talk a little bit more to Ronnie Whelan. Again, there wasn't many stories from Emil Heskey. It was pretty much Ronnie Whelan. And he's mentioned a couple of times that he wasn't very he loved Jack Charlton, but wasn't very impressed with him because he only gave him a few caps because of the kind of style of football that they were playing. But all in all, it's like Christmas morning. Anytime you're going to these events, like it's incredible. You're up close to people that you have looked up to,
idolized.
most of your, do you know what I mean? And my parents laugh at me because they go back and forth to see my sister, and there was last year or the year before, Stevie G was over. I think he's back over it again, and it's like 350 for a meet and greet. €350 for a meet and greet. I was like, there's no way I'm paying that. But my mother and father actually met him in a restaurant and got a picture taken with him for nothing. And I am fuming. But like, these events are incredible. Especially the one in the Cottage Bar and Grill. I think it was about €25 for a ticket. And you're there sitting, having a drink, asking them questions, meeting up with them, meeting them in the back of the bar, chatting to them, buying them a drink. Incredible. The Camden was a big event. You didn't have that, although I had that experience with John Aldridge, which was incredible, but you're close to them in the Cottage Inn, you're close to them in the Clonsilla Inn. The National Concert Hall in Dublin wasn't great the way it was laid out, but you get to meet these people that have played such a massive part in your life, and you've looked at them play. I mean, John Aldridge, Ray Houghton, Ronnie Whelan, these were players that I loved and admired, and were massive in Ireland. If you weren't like a Liverpool fan, they were massive in Ireland. And to meet all of these people, Jan Moby, absolute gentleman, Ray Houghton, a gentleman, John Barnes, an absolute gentleman. Ronnie Whelan was a little bit quiet. Bruce Grobler was a little quiet. Sammy Lee, an absolute gentleman, so kind of down to earth. And with the career that he's had, you'd be like, Sammy, you don't need to tell me who you are. I know who you are. But yet he introduced himself, and I thought, wow, like someone like him. Hi, my name is Sammy
legend. He was a brilliant player, wasn't he, Sammy Lee?
Oh man, I'm probably not doing it any justice, all these legends gigs that I've been to, but it's very hard to kind of summarize. Even talking about it just makes me excited. Do you know what I mean? It just, being at those events were incredible, absolutely incredible, and a lot of them, I didn't spend over 100 or 200 quid. And that's the important ones, and especially the Cottage Inn. And the reason why I'm mentioning these names, Garrett, is because that was an amazing place, off the beaten track. You wouldn't even see it, and it was one of the best places in Dublin to go to a Legends gig, meet and greet. Amazing.
Well, I'm not as lucky as you. I've only actually been to one. I was booked in to see Bruce Grobbelaar at the Mazuma Stadium in Morecambe, but that got cancelled and it was replaced by Neil Ruddock, which for me was better because for me, Neil Ruddock was one of my heroes. I mean, he was a no-nonsense centre-back. They don't make him these days.
No.
Well, they're not allowed to these days, are we?
No.
But that was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. I told you about it before off air. And basically, I asked him about Andy Cole, the tackle in the reserves. And I said to him, is it true that you broke both his legs in one tackle in a reserve team game? They said, yeah, it's true. I said, what happened? Because I never really knew the full story.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, well, the referee said play on. Can you imagine these days, a referee saying play on and the guy's laying there with 2 broken legs?
Yeah, I
They
mean,
even blow on him when he's on the floor now and they get a free kick.
but you see, that's the thing. Back in those days, you had the likes of Julian Dix and you had the likes of Tony Adams, Steve Bruce, all of these, like, solid play, Gary Pallister, and of course, Neil Ruddock and the likes of them. These were all tough characters. I mean, Paul McGrath, speaking about, the Irish end of things, Paul McGrath had injury after injury after injury on top of, other personal issues, and he still played out of his socks. You don't get that nowadays. You don't get that sort of physicality. I mean, Jesus Christ, you see, and that's one thing I didn't like about Suarez. Suarez dived about the place. I don't like diving. And you see an awful lot of that in football nowadays. And sometimes, and again, it's down to, I suppose, the officiating. Sometimes they have to go down onto the ground, or fling themselves onto the ground to get something if there's contact. But the likes of those players, you won't get them again. The likes of Neil Ruddock or Julian Dix. I don't know why I'm speaking about Julian Dix like he was the best player ever, but you won't get the sort of. They'd be told to lose weight in today's game.
Definitely. And then you've got people like Joey Barton, David Batty.
Yeah.
There's people like that. Who was the other guy when he played for Newcastle? Lee Boyer. They both got sent off for scrapping, didn't they?
Yeah. I remember that well.
With Bruce Grobbelaar as well.
Yeah.
You don't see that these days.
No. And the other thing is I don't know how Steve McManaman and Bruce Grobbelaar didn't get a red card. When you think of Lee Bowyer and what was it, Dyer, how the two of them got sent off, but Bruce Grobbelaar and Steve McManaman didn't.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's what I mean. It is madness.
Yeah,
crazy the way the football's changed.
It's and I mean the other thing is you would not want to mess with Bruce Grobbelaar. I mean, he was in the army.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You would not want to mess with him. Like he was like, do you know what I mean? But it's so good to see all these characters. I mean, I've got 2 jerseys, an Irish jersey and a Liverpool jersey with all these signatures. And like I was just thinking, when you think of like how much jerseys are, first of all, without any signatures, like a home or away or a third jersey, and then you're thinking about one signature. One signature would easily be about £350 or €350. I've got all of these signatures on it, and that's going to be framed. That's going to be framed.
Well, I've actually got a shirt. I don't think I've got it down here anymore, and it's got a signature of. It's a limited edition one, and it's got Steven Gerrard, Jamie Carragher, Fernando Torres, Mascherano, and somebody else signed on it. It's never been out of its box. It's still in its box.
No.
My missus paid about £100 for it.
£100?
Yeah, something like 9,500 quid or something for it. And we'd had a look on eBay, and the last time we looked, I think it was about £300. And that was, we're talking probably 10 years ago then. And they've all retired now.
You would easily, if you were to sell that now, it'd be about £800. Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. I mean, I've had a few box sets that you can get in the Liverpool store. I've got the Torres signed jersey. I've got Kenny Dalglish signed jersey. What was the other one? Oh, there's a few of them. But like you have like kind of replica medals and stuff like that, and it was the El Nino jersey a special El Nino jersey that was signed. And I've also actually in front of me I actually won this the Liverpool membership. I have a signed Luis Garcia when he scored that the ghost goal against Chelsea. So I have that looking straight at me. So I'm blessed in, you know, getting all of these kind of signed jerseys and these legend things. The legend gigs are incredible. If you go to a good one where you're not, you know, spending an arm and a leg to get there, it's incredible.
Yeah, it is incredible.
Oh.
So, there's a few things we can touch on if you want to next. I mean, I've got how you think Liverpool have done this season. I've also got who you think we should sign. Maybe not players, but like positions, maybe. Who you think should go? Who you think could replace Arne Slot? So there's lots of stuff we can get into. And there's obviously your Premier League 11, all-time not Premier League, sorry, LFC greatest 11. You know, there's plenty of stuff we can get into. I want to save the best to last. Just because I'm selfish and I want people to wait.
That's all right.
You know, I don't want everyone just to see all the best bits and then just fuck off. If they want to see the best bit, they're going to have to wait till last.
They're going to have to wait.
Yeah, we're not rushing it. We're not rushing it, peeps. So let's start off with how you think Liverpool have done this season. What's gone wrong and what's changed since last season?
So I think that's down to a variety of things. There was a question asked from one of our viewers on 7 p.m. with AKM. And it was like, what percentage of blame do you know, or what are the reasons, and what percentage would you give as to why we've done so bad? And so the options were Slot, the players, and obviously, God rest his soul, the tragic passing of Diego Jota. So what I said was 70% goes to Slot, 15% goes to the players, and 15% goes to the tragic passing of Diego Jota. And you have to be very careful with bringing up the death of you know, not only a friend to them but also a colleague. I know what it's like to lose a colleague. I lost a colleague of mine in our office there last year, and I know that from my experience, it's very, very difficult to go back to work and just continue on without him. You know, so from knowing how I felt, I can't imagine it has been easy for the players, and that's why I kind of gave it 15%. In terms of where I think things have gone wrong, I gave the transfer window an 8 out of 10, and some people destroyed me for it. It's all well and good, you know, breaking the record twice and bringing in these players. I thought it was just as important to get centre backs as it was Alexander Isak.
Yeah.
And my concern with Isak is that he didn't have a pre-season. The opening couple of... he didn't have a pre-season. He had been injured, or supposedly. And therefore, he also didn't play the opening of the Premier League with Newcastle. So he had no time to warm up. The first mistake that we made was, apart from not signing centre backs, I know that we got Leone and he'd been, you know, unlucky and whatever. The other issue and mistake that we made was, as soon as we got Isak, we took Ekitike, who was tearing it up, and we put Isak on instead of him. The other thing is that I don't think Slot knew where to play Wirtz. I don't think he had a clue where to put him. I also remember the first game of the season, and I don't necessarily agree with Jamie Carragher on a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I remember Jamie Carragher saying at the first game of the season, he expressed his concern about the new style of football that we're playing, and that was committing too many people up front, and have this, passing back, passing sideways, and this slow build up. And he was worried that it was going to catch our defenders out, which it has done. So there's an element of that. I also think that changing the coaches from last season,
Yeah.
I think was a massive mistake. Now, obviously, some of them decided to go elsewhere, take another job. That's all well and good, but I don't think it helped us in any way.
No.
The transfer window, I'll go back to it, and I remember Arne Slot saying is we replaced players. So I think from a squad depth kind of view, I think we may have left ourselves short. And I remember hearing even Anfield Rap saying that and blaming Richard Hughes on it. So I think it's down to a variety of things. If I was to bullet point it, it's down to all of that, the style of football, the change, and also the substitutions have been all over the place. Like if you're fighting to either get a winning goal and you put on defenders, what the fuck are you doing? So I've kind of noticed a few of these things, and I think that it's a multitude of things. I don't like you or saying or mentioning Diego's passing, but that was so tragic and so out of the blue, and I mean, so tragic for his parents who lost two boys that day.
Yeah.
It's it's horrible. It's horrible. And I think that there are some players that are finding it more difficult than others. But I still, at the end of the day, like myself and like my work colleagues, we have to go and we have to do a job regardless.
Yeah.
And park that to one side from 9 to 5, and they the same.
Yeah, it's like you say, it's difficult. I mean, when COVID hit, one of my good friends at work, he took time off work because of COVID. He was working from home. So I never actually saw him for years because he was told to work from home.
Yeah.
And then I came into work one morning and he'd tragically died of cancer. And I hadn't seen him for 3 years. It gives me chills thinking about it now. And he was such a nice fella.
Yeah.
He was one of the reps at work. He used to get all our jobs in and stuff for us. But because of his job, he could work from home. So I just presumed that he was working from home.
Yeah.
Because even when everyone could go back to work, majority of our office staff stayed at home.
Yeah.
And it was weird. Last time I saw him, we were all wearing masks.
Yeah.
And then I go back to work and he's, I just presumed he's working from home, and then I never asked. And then I overheard somebody talking at work saying, so-and-so's funeral is next weekend. And I was like, you're joking. What do you mean his funeral? I presumed he was staying at home.
Yeah.
But then every time you go into the office, you look at where his desk is, and it's still the same place, still the same chair, everything. It was just weird.
Yeah, I mean, out of respect, I suppose, to my work colleagues and of course his family, I won't say too much on the grief that everyone felt, and I suppose it's the only reason why I bring it up is because it was in around the same time as Diego's passing,
Right.
and so you can kind of then, where people kind of dismiss the grief that quite a lot of the players are going through, even though some of them have gone elsewhere. You cannot take away from it. You cannot. I'm not saying that is a reason why we're doing so poor.
No, but I mean, if you're with somebody, what, 10, 12 hours a day, when you were away in Europe and stuff like that,
yeah,
it is going to affect you.
Yeah.
It really is. It is really like losing a family member, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it's dreadful. But I will say this: the support of the club to the players, and obviously the fans and how they've acted, but also the ownership and how they did. I mean, you could not have had a more perfect reaction, or not reaction, but response. Retiring the number 20, having kind of like the chaplain in Liverpool, offer support and help, fundraising, the whole thing where they cancelled or terminated the contract so that they knew that his wife and kids would be paid as compensation, which is unheard of. And it was the first time in a long time where I felt, do you know what? All these spats aside, between YouTubers and journalists and whatever, the football community were impeccable. And especially our club, what we did and how we honored them and how we continue to honor them. And what was the pre-season friendly that we played? Oh my God. There was a pre-season friendly, and we've been playing them. I think this is the second time in the space of two seasons that we played them. And the response that we got and how they showed respect. It was the first game after he passed away. The respect that they showed, they actually had a lady who was the wife of one of the players sing "You'll Never Walk Alone." And I swear to, she's actually from Cork. I swear to Jesus, it just welled me up. And I'm probably at this Legends game, I'm going to be just,
it's going to be emotional.
Oh, absolutely. But go back to your... Sorry, Garrett?
I wonder if they'll do something for him. Maybe some sort of mural or something.
Well, they're going to do something in terms of like the flowers and the joy pads that they put up. I think they're going to make some sort of monument or something to him. And obviously they have the mural with all the signatures, which I'm lucky to have my name on it. I got someone else to sign it for me. And then we actually have one for AKM as well. But I think as part of the LFC Foundation, I think, now I probably shouldn't be saying this, but I have a feeling that some of that goes to Diego's family. I think. But I know that there are certain players that are helping out as well, the families, which again is just amazing. But I mean, going back to the original question, I think that all plays a factor, but majority of it, unfortunately, is down to Slot and the decisions that he's made. The fact that these players have come in and he does not know what to do with them. The fact that Isak didn't have a pre-season, and some of the substitutions that he's made. And I think that's basically what is...
Talking about Arne Slot, apparently Paul Joyce put a post out about Arnie Slot.
Okay.
I'm just trying to see now if I can find it. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
I think I may have posted it up on AKM while I was waiting for part 2. Let's have a look here. So yeah, I know that we spent a lot of money in the summer, but it looks like nobody is able to understand that every other Premier League club was adding players to the squad while we were replacing players in our squad. From the 450 million that we spent, I've only been able to use 250 million. Alexander-Arnold has never been fit so far. Leone is ruled out for the entire season. Frimpong has only had impact in 5 out of 6 games. We brought a second goalkeeper for 35 million who barely plays. So we haven't even seen 250 million of the 450 million that have been spent, where our rivals have spent 200 million to 300 million to 400 million in adding players to their squad instead of replacing. That's what I saw. I don't know whether that's the same thing.
It could be. I haven't actually seen it.
Yeah.
I just seen some briefly, a headline or something. What was it going to? There was something else was good. Oh, that was it. So you give it an 8 out of 10, the transfer window.
Mm-hmm.
I might be wrong, but did you say if we'd have got Gahey over the line, you would have given it a 10?
At the time, I said I would have given it a 10 if Gahey.
Yeah, I agree. But the annoying thing is, why did they leave it until the last day when they've had a full month to do it? Well, they had more than a month, didn't they?
Garrett, I'll tell you what annoyed me. And I just been 24 hours out of surgery there during in January when I heard that Gahey had been signed by City. And the first thing that annoyed me is, how are they signing fucking players? That's the first one.
Yeah.
And number 2, how did we let the ball drop? How arrogant must the club be in thinking Mark Gahey is going to sit around till the end of the season, wait for us to do the cheap option, bring him in on a free and whatever. It makes no sense, and we really dropped the ball. The whole Mark Gahey thing, I mean, I don't blame Oliver Glasner for digging the heels in. I think now that he's lost Gahey, I think that's wrapped up his career. I think he'll go at the end of the season. There's no two ways about it.
I think he's already said that, hasn't he?
Yeah, and rightly so.
I think he did say that's it.
Yeah.
I'm finishing at the end of the season.
Yeah, and rightly so. But it almost killed me to see Mark Gahey play against Liverpool.
Yeah, it was awful, wasn't it?
I just think, and I mean, you know, the fans may boo him and all of that, but it wasn't a case that Mark Gahey snubbed Liverpool. It was a case that Liverpool snubbed Mark Gahey.
Well, apparently, Liverpool had actually told his agent that we ain't going to come back for you until the summer. And then City apparently said to him, well, we'll give you whatever you want, basically. You know, they've given, what is it, £300,000 a week, massive signing on bonus and stuff. So he wouldn't have lost anything in the summer.
Yeah, and basically the agent fee as well. The agent would have got more this summer than they would have if he signed in January. But Man City covered all of that. Yeah. And then we get this Jeremy Jacquet or whatever, and we don't even sign him for January. And we spend probably more money on a sign-on fee with him for him. He's unproven in the Premier League, and the guy gets injured the next bloody day.
Exactly.
And now he could be out for 7 months.
It's madness. It really is. But I think as well, I noticed he didn't mention this, which I thought you would have, to be fair. Richard Hughes, I think, takes a lot of blame for this. Because
Oh
I
yeah.
don't personally think, I don't know about you, but I don't personally think that Arne Slot wanted half of these players. I
Well, you
think it
see,
was Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards that picked the
yeah,
players.
you see, this is the whole issue of having, and I mean, I'm sorry, but I could see through the bullshit of the Reds round table and the timing
Yeah,
of that. And I could see through that. I mean, Billy Hogan is sat there looking at the two of them as if he's the parent of two bold boys that are going into detention to speak to the principal. That's
yeah,
what it looked like to me. And they were talking about their relationship and working relationship and how they get on and all of this jazz. And I wasn't buying it, although it sounded all great. It was only right that Richard Hughes come out and answer some of the questions. But again, typical of journalists and anything that's been put out as a PR stunt from the club, the important questions aren't asked. Why did you slip? Or why did you let the ball drop with the Gahey thing? Questions like that. I thought, obviously during the summer when we're bringing in these players and paying what we're paying, I'm thinking happy days. But again, typical kind of Fenway we come not to pay in me, I'm looking at the net spend. And I'm thinking, okay, well, how much of that have we got back in sales? And I was pleasantly surprised with the amount of money that we spent. But as Arne Slot said, they were to replace players. And I think with the offloading that we did the season before that, with all the youngsters, Kwanzaa and the likes, I think we left
yeah,
ourselves really short. And all you have to do is look at the bench over the last number of games. I know we've injuries, but when you have two goalkeepers to make the numbers on a bench.
yeah. It's the same as Chiesa. I don't think they wanted Chiesa. I definitely think that was a Richard Hughes signing
I think
because
so
he doesn't
too.
play him. He
Yeah, I
doesn't play
think so
him.
too.
The same
There's
with Rio Ungamoa. Why is he never getting a game?
Well, I know some of the subscribers that we have believe that they're trying to protect him, that he's not fully ready, that they want to throw him in the deep end. But as another person said, well, look at Sterling, look at Milner when he made his debut.
Yeah,
And I think we can't afford to be nurturing these players. They either hit the ground running or they sink. And
yeah,
that's football, and football is a cutthroat business, and we can't sit back and wait for these players to either perform or find the Premier League too difficult for them. And I
yeah,
think
exactly.
that's an issue that we're going to have with maybe Jeremy Jacquet. I don't know.
Was it Gerard Houllier said that if you're good enough, you're old enough?
I think so. Yeah, I
It was
think
either
so.
Houllier or Benitez, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Well, if you look back in the day, you think you had Gerard at 18, you had Owen at 18, you had, who else was there? Jamie Carragher was 18,
Jamie
19.
Carragher. Yeah.
And they put them straight in. They didn't mess about, did they?
No, they
Like
didn't.
you
And
say,
I
it's sink
mean,
or swim. Same with Sterling. He was
yeah,
only 18.
yeah. Harvey Elliott.
Harvey
You know,
Elliott. And then
Jones.
with Jones, we had Trey Leone.
Mm.
We had that other young lad. What was he called? Ben somebody. He played at
Lucky.
16, didn't he?
Lucky.
There's Lucky. There's another lad. What was he called? Ben somebody.
No,
And he was
the
only
name
16.
the name
Ben.
is Lucky, as in his surname. Are you talking about Lucky?
No, there was a lad called Ben somebody, and he was the youngest ever Liverpool player. He was only 16. Ben
Ben
Woodman.
Woodman, is it?
Is it Ben Woodman? Ben somebody. And he was 16 when he played for the first team.
Is this recently?
No, I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago now, maybe.
Oh,
But he
okay.
was a brilliant player.
Yeah,
And
I'm
he was
trying
only
to.
16.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a young lad in the youth team. I would love to see him come through. Problem is, he's only 15. He's called Josh Abe. This kid is unbelievable. He's better than Rio Ungamoa. He's just so direct. But
And that's
he's
the
only
great
15.
thing with your channel is that you look at the academy as well. It's something that I'll be straight with you. I've watched maybe a couple of games on the academy end of things, but not as much as yourself. So I don't know what players are coming up. I know that, like, obviously with Kirby and the training facilities that we have, and how we nurture the grassroots and these young players, and especially when we had the Stevie G, Robbie Fowler academy in Melwood before the ladies took over there. I think it's been incredible, and there are so many young players. Now, it is difficult for these kids to come up. I mean, you only have to ask Martin and his lad, Toby, who was a goalkeeper at Liverpool underage. And he went obviously to Thailand, or was it Thailand or somewhere, to play an international tournament over there. And do you remember the fundraiser on Cop Talk?
Yeah.
He decided not to pursue that for all the difficulties that he kind of incurred at the club. And it's difficult, from what Martin has said, it's very, very difficult. But there are some young players that we can certainly bring up. But again, they have to have an understudy. They have to, not have an understudy. They would be the understudy, but they would have to have someone senior that they could play understudy to. And this is my issue, that while we had a rebuild of our midfield 2 or 3 seasons ago, that's great, but we're going to now have a rebuild of our engine, which is our defense, and that is going to be difficult. And I think if you allow Kanate, Virgil leave the club with no suitable understudy to take over, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I think that's why they signed Leone and Jaquette, isn't it? To get maybe a couple of more. I mean, it's going to be a bit more difficult if Kanate goes. I mean, there is talks that he's getting a new contract. Well, it's a difficult one.
I think the Real Madrid have expressed an interest back on Kanate, and I think since, God love him, since his bereavement, he's come back and he's actually done very well.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know whether that's kind of like, mentality or the fact that, well, I'm going to try and play for Real Madrid, so I have to really up my game. So I don't know whether it's that. Kanate has a few mistakes in him, and I think that's really shown this season, especially the way we're playing.
But going back to a youth team player, there is one lad, I don't know if you've heard of him, he's called Josh Sonny Lambie. He is the next big thing. He's 18-year-old, plays for the under-18s and under-21s, and he scored 25 goals this season. And I know it's only against his own age group, but this kid is class.
Yeah.
He's fast, he's direct, he can play anywhere across the front three. I've been campaigning on my channel to get him on the bench. Just to give, if you want to rest Ekitike, give this kid a chance, because he knows where the back of the net is. He's so good. And it's scary how much he looks like Trent Alexander-Arnold when he was that age. Oh, my word. You want to have a look, mate. When we come off this video, have a look at Josh Sonny Lambie.
Yeah.
The kid is special.
Yeah.
So special.
Well, I think it's important to bring in those players, but I just think with the way that we go about our business, like I said to you, that this summer was probably the only summer where I was excited by it. But like I said to you, I still believe that we needed at least another 2 centre-backs.
Yeah.
At least.
I mean, we've got them 2 young kids, haven't we, that we signed, but they're only, 17 and 18?
Yeah.
16 and 17 or something.
Yeah.
They'll be good in a few years then. Because when we sign a player, I always go onto YouTube and have a look at them.
Yeah.
Especially young players.
Yeah.
And I always watch like the under-18s now. They're on a Saturday morning at 7:30 on Liverpool TV. Not 7:30, 11:30
11:30,
on
yeah.
Liverpool TV. So I always watch that on a Saturday morning if I'm off. I'm off on
play.
Saturday, so I'll be watching it this week.
Mm.
But I love watching these kids. There's so many good ones.
Well, there's so much talent out there, and especially in Liverpool. And again, I mean, I think it's safe to say that our academy is probably one of the best in the country.
I'd say it's one of the best in Europe. I think there's only Ajax better than it.
Yeah.
Really
Ajax
good.
is very good. Yeah. Well, I think,
if you get a chance, you want to watch Liverpool on Saturday morning and watch the under-18s, and you'll see these kids are unreal. Our future is so bright at this club. It's just getting a manager who's got the balls to say, go on, lad, get over that line and show them what you can do.
And it doesn't look like, because, I mean, when they were scouting Arne Slot, they were off the belief that he has no problem bringing in the youth. And that's something that he hasn't done at Liverpool, only Rio and Anoni. But other than that, if you look at, I mean, Klopp's last season, I mean, the Carabao Cup, we won Klopp's kids,
Yeah.
Majority of them are fucking gone.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying. I think if Slot goes, he has to take Richard Hughes with him and Michael Edwards. Just get rid, bring Klopp back as CEO of football.
I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. I think Klopp is done with Liverpool and, right into the sunset. I think if he's going to do anything, some people say he's going to be the next Real Madrid manager, and I don't agree with that at all. I think if ever he's managing, it's going to be the German national team. I think he's perfectly happy, and I don't think he has the desire to go balls deep into football again, or that element of football. I can't see him, being sporting director at Liverpool. I may be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I can't see Edwards leaving because he's just come back. But again, this goes back to the journalism end of things. Why did Edwards leave in the first place? Why did his replacement, I can't think of his name now offhand,
Julian Ward.
Why did he then leave shortly after that? Why then did they have George Smaka, or whatever his name is, have a temporary fucking contract at Liverpool Football Club? It doesn't make sense.
Because he was basically carrying the club on his own.
It doesn't make sense. And then for Klopp to leave, and then Edwards to come back, and then he brings Richard Hughes. It made no sense to me, and those questions were not asked. And what I've noticed with other clubs and the journalists that cover them, they ask the hard-hitting questions. Ours don't.
I think we should get in a press conference, Seano.
I think so. Let's have it. Let's make it happen. Because
I think we should have it. If that halfway, what's he called? That Pillarclip does it. Captain Obvious. Oh, what's he called?
Michael Owen. Well, he's Captain Obvious.
Oh, what's he called? He's got a YouTube channel. He's shit scared to ask questions as well.
Oh,
David Lynch.
Oh, David Lynch.
David Lynch. He's in the press conferences now.
Yeah, but sure, what you call it? There's Mo Stewart who is part of the Late Challenge, and he's at the press conferences. I know Copite's podcast is at press conferences and asking questions and what have you. So there was a video that had come out recently from a rugby content creator saying that football content creators are lame. And I think the opposite, because you have a lot of these that are towing the corporate line and are not honest with their subscribers or their viewers or whatever, believe they're on some moral high ground where they can, say, well, this is how you should act, this is how you should feel. And if you feel any other way, you're not a true supporter.
No, exactly.
all of these people are on social media, and the fact that they go on, oh well, you know, Jamie Carragher saying, oh, you know, the cranks on social media. You're on fucking social media, Carragher.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Or these fans that criticize Slot and all the players. You criticize Slot, you criticize Salah. So,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know, it's hypocrisy at its best, but there's definitely a need for content creators.
Yeah, of
And
course there is.
what you're seeing nowadays, and you haven't seen this before ever. And what I'm noticing is that you have now journalists with their podcasts, with their YouTube, and they're going on to other podcasts and other YouTube channels. You never got that.
No.
You never got that, and now all of a sudden they're doing that. So, you know, questions need to be asked as to why Richard or Edwards came back, why he left, why Julian Ward left. You can talk about personal differences and personal things in life and whatever, but it all smells fishy to me, and no
Yeah.
one asks that question.
I tell you what would be pretty cool, and I know they do it on X, but I've never seen anybody do it on YouTube. Get a load of content creators together, all different channels, and get a few of the big names on there as well, like Red Men TV and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And all of us have a proper debate and see if these main boys, so-called main boys, your David Lynch's and all them lot, will answer the questions that we'll ask.
But Red Men TV had like they were again they slate people online, and yet they went onto this thing called Space, which was on X, and they had a massive argument with Kurdish, who is a content he's one of the FSG out. He was responsible for the FSG out plane, and then there was another guy. Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't think of his name, but they're fairly well known FSG out. I mean, you thought I was bad. Jesus Christ, you want to see these guys. But these guys have got into conversations and got into arguments with Red Men TV, in particular, Paul Mason.
I think I've
And
seen that, you know.
it's, yeah.
I think I've seen it because he logged off, didn't he?
Well,
That
someone
Paul.
mentioned religion. Someone mentioned religion. And then Kurdish came back and mentioned, you know, with the money that you're making on social media, you're biting the hand that puts food on your table. And then he went back and said, "You're bringing up my family," you know. And again, he wasn't technically bringing up his family. What he was saying is that you're giving out about social media, but yet you have a presence on social media. That's probably the way I would have worded it. Not saying that I'm great with words, but in hindsight, I probably would have worded it that way. But
Yeah.
whatever happened between that, I don't think you can have conversations with these people. I've had conversations with the likes of Garrett Roberts, Paul Mason. I've had Jay McKenna, who was the chair of Spirit of Shankly. I've had an interview with him, and yeah, it's
Yeah. That's what I mean. No, it'd never happen, would it?
no.
I've just say, I don't know, 20 people or something. Different people though, not just all professionals as they like to call themselves. Every channel, you know, and do a meet and greet, and you know, everybody have a say. Because when I watched them, people say something, and then some people are talking over them, so they don't actually get their full says on
Yeah,
X. It's so
yeah.
frustrating.
And I mean, it like I'll talk about this later when we're talking about obviously the YouTube experience and whatever, but certainly the toxicity online is worse than ever. I mean, I thought it was bad when I was around, but I think it's worse now. It's worse now. Yeah. I won't bring it up just quite yet.
Yeah. It's coming up, though, very soon. We've only got probably a couple of more questions left, haven't we?
Yes.
So we've covered where you think it's gone wrong this season. We've covered your transfers. We've covered a player you would have liked to have got over the line, which was Mark Gahey.
The players I want to see.
Players you want to see, and then your all-time Liverpool team, and then you can talk about your YouTube experience.
So the players I want to see sign, I think we need to sign 5 players. That's without, any players leaving the club. I think 2 centre backs, a number 6, maybe
Left
a right
winger.
back, maybe a right
Left
back.
winger.
Huh?
Left winger.
I would get a player that can play on the front 3.
Because there's the rumours that Salah's going in there to Saudi in the summer.
Yeah.
But if we get that Jan Diamendi, he's perfect to replace Salah.
Yeah.
And then there's rumours also about Gakpo going to Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
we need a left winger as well.
Yeah, but the reason why I said a right back, I've kind of changed my mind slightly from the 7 p.m. with 8 k.m. I do believe we need 5 players without any players leaving the club. I think Frimpong is better as a right winger than he is a right back. And I think any time that he's come on for Salah, he's created hassle. I think Rio, when he came on for Gakpo, I felt that he gave more, or he put more in that game than both Salah and Gakpo combined.
Yeah.
We need wingers that, like Mane and like Salah, usually, that will have no problem running into the box, turning defenders inside out, and causing hassle.
Yeah. Look what Rio did against Forest. He did that, didn't he? Got into the box.
Exactly.
And then he got the assist for McAllister. Well, Verge got the assist in the end, didn't he? But
yeah, exactly.
That's what we need. I'd love to see old-fashioned wingers like Matt Manaman used to do.
Yeah.
Get it, players, get down that byline and get it into the box.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we're having to wait for pass back, pass sideways. It really frustrates me.
Oh, it annoys the shit. It annoys the shit.
Arsenal used to do that, didn't they? And win it 1-0.
Yeah, yeah.
When they won the undefeated season.
It's not effective for us, Gareth. It's not effective for us. And most of the mistakes that we make on the pitch are as a result of sideways, pass back. When we're just about to gain momentum, what do? We pass it back to Virgil, to pass it back to Kanate, to pass to Alisson. And there's been some absolute humdingers from Alisson. And we're losing possession far too quickly. And you talk about the bloody low ball. The reason why the opposition is playing the low ball is because of how slow we are in the build-up.
Exactly.
I mean, even the awareness, and again, this goes back to your question a few questions ago, is the awareness of each and every player is all over the shop. We're not even getting the second ball. We're not seeing that the player on the other wing available. We're walking ourselves into oncoming traffic. So we need someone that has the vision, like do what we did with Alisson, assisting Salah.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
Talking about Alisson, it's been doing the stupid take-ons as well again recently, hasn't he? All his little turns, and what is he doing? He's not a midfielder. He used to do that when he first started. It scares me.
I need to get a defibrillator sitting close to me when I'm doing the match watch-alongs, because I swear to Christ I'll have a heart attack. I really will. I'll have a heart attack. It's night and day, the difference in the football that we played last season and the football that we're playing this season. Night and day.
Do you think he's made too many changes too quick? I mean, I know we weren't happy with Nunes and Diaz half the time, but at least they give 110%.
Well, Diaz wanted to leave anyway, and I'd rather a player that wants to stay with Liverpool and not see it as a stepping stone to a club he wants to go to. As far as I'm concerned, Liverpool are the rock. You go to other clubs and you use them as a stepping stone to get to Liverpool.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't use Liverpool as a stepping stone to go to Real Madrid. How did that work out for Trent?
Yeah, and other players as well. I mean, look at Coutinho with Barcelona.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a massive mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's madness. Who was it? Was it Klopp who said to Coutinho, you either stay at Liverpool and you become a legend and make a statue here, or if you leave, you just become another squad number.
Yeah.
And it's true. It exactly happened.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that Coutinho would have still been one of the top players in the Premier League now if he was still at Liverpool.
But would we have got Virgil and Alisson from that money? Would we have got them if Coutinho was still at the club? And I don't think we would have.
No, probably not. We might have got one of them. I think we might have got Alisson, but I don't think he would have gone out and bought them both because we were desperate for a goalkeeper, weren't we, for years and years.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you remember, we slipped up in the summer. Of course we did, with Virgil. And then we got him in the Christmas. So I think we probably would have got Virgil, but not Alisson.
Yeah. But then again, we don't need we wouldn't have needed Alisson because we've got Kelleher. That's another Irish player we didn't mention. We'll let the ball slip there as well. What a goalkeeper he is.
God almighty. and like, honest to God, man, I was devastated to see him go. Devastated. Yeah, but why not have a number 2 and have him come in as number 1? Because he was well able for it. Well able for it.
And he saved like 7 penalties or something this season alone.
Yeah, and
all competitions.
The other thing is he has the record of scoring the most. I think he has a record at Liverpool scoring the most penalties. Penalties.
It's mad, isn't it? Didn't he get the winning penalty in the League Cup final or something?
Yes.
One of the years?
Yes. Yes. So I don't like. I can understand why he left, but I can't understand what we were thinking. I can't understand that.
No, I think if Klopp was there, I don't think he would have left. I think when Klopp left, he thought to himself, you know, now is the time. Because Klopp was such an icon to a lot of the players, wasn't he?
Absolutely, but I think Kelleher had mentioned the summer before that because if you remember, Mohamed Ashvili had signed at the summer and didn't join us until the following summer. So Kelleher at that stage had said, well, obviously there's no use for me. But the season before that, he was thinking, well, I might have, if I don't get, you know, first team football, I may have to leave. So the writing was very much on the wall, even during Klopp. But look, he's gone now. I wish him the best. Lovely lad. And, you know, Ireland have been blessed with, you know, goalkeepers over the past. And in particular, he is a fantastic goalkeeper.
Yeah. I think one of the best goalkeepers that I remember for Ireland was Shea Given.
I'll even go.
Brilliant goalkeeper.
He was fantastic, but I'll even go further than that. And he was actually voted the 3rd best goalkeeper in the world, and that was Packy Bonner.
Yeah.
Packy Bonner at Italy 90, when he saved that penalty against Romania, they had him down as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. And I mean, he was a Celtic. He played at Celtic. Fantastic, like really, really tall, strong goalkeeper. And again, we were blessed to have him. But Shea Given, absolutely was incredible too. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you want to do your YouTube bit next and finish off with your what do
Why
you
not?
call it?
Why
Finish off
not?
with your Liverpool's greatest team last.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think that would be a nice way to finish it. That doing your greatest Liverpool
I
team,
think so. I think so.
and then we
Yeah,
can ask people in the comments who their greatest ever Liverpool team would be.
yeah, yeah.
See if
That'd
they
be.
can beat yours.
I don't know. I don't know. I've done my homework. Stats and all sorts. Where do I go on the whole YouTube experience?
To start off right at the beginning,
Yeah.
did you
So
have your own YouTube channel to start off with?
yeah, so originally I had a group that I called or NESV or FSG, the new Gillette and Hicks, which went down like a lead balloon. I remember watching Dunk out of Cop Top, one of the videos that he did, and he was the most animated and angry. Then it was one of these, as he says, tripod videos. It was amazing, and it was so funny because he was talking about us not spending an extra 2 million to get Clint Dempsey. You know, Clint Dempsey of all players, but I was so inspired by that I started up this group that eventually ended up being called Fenway We Come Not to Pay. And really, I had a year of looking at what the owners were like and what have you. I did a bit of research into them, what they were like at other clubs, San Diego Padres, fire sale of '93. If you look at that, Tom Warner, his view, Moneyball policies. I never really got the whole idea of Moneyball because, you know, it's all well and good. We got to sell players, to buy players. We need to be self-sustainable. And what I kind of felt back then is that we clung on to anything that took us away from Gillette and Hicks. And we were very, very quick to, yeah, we'll take them. You know, we were very quick to have them as our saviors, even though later on in court documents over the sale of Liverpool to NESV, as they were called then, it outlined and highlighted where this was what they call the bottom of the barrel deal. I had some reservations over the style of football, or not the style of football, but the way that they went about their business. But back then, of course, there was this kind of scaremongering. Well, do you want Gillette and Hicks to come back? Do you want us to go into debt and what have you? So I eventually started up YouTube, very naive. Basically, it was, you know, I'd sit up in my bed or I'd sit in the kitchen and just hold up my phone and do a video. And that was it. I had no concept of who's going to watch this, what it's going to bring to me. I had no idea of the hassle it was going to cause, none whatsoever. And I certainly ruffled a few feathers. And, you know, I had a great group of people, not at the start, but certainly as they came in, we had like a great admin team that did research, and it wasn't just all me. But we ran into a lot of trolling at the very well, relatively in the early stages of Fenway We Come Not to Pay, and myself and Lee was kind of my right hand man at the time, and he did videos, and it was very much out of his comfort zone. It was the first time that he ever did a YouTube channel. It was the first time I ever did a YouTube channel. So we thought, look, we'll entertain ourselves by seeing who comes up with the best the best insult to these trolls. And I think I won a few times, but Lee and myself were this was kind of banter that we'd have daily, and it resulted in, I'd say, 4 years of online harassment for myself. And yeah, an awful lot of people didn't realize that. So they just saw this angry Irish guy, you know, and it got to a head with me, with the abuse that I was getting when they tried to hack my accounts. They eventually put up pictures of my parents' house with flames drawn out of it. They put up pictures of my late aunt, and circulated that all over the internet. And I lost it. There was one night that I lost it, and these people recorded that and sent it to the place that I was working at the time, and I tried to bribe that company to sacking me, and did all sorts. So the whole objective to Fenway We Come Not to Pay was to ask questions of these owners, to hold them accountable, to say, well, okay, you may have bought this club and saved us from the other crowd, but I'm not going to let you off the leash just quite yet, or I'm going to be cautious, because once bitten, twice is shy, you know. And anything that I put out there was researched. Sometimes I got it wrong with stuff that was been fed to me. And a lot of people kind of made the balls to get me to troll them. And I was very naive in believing certain things that other people told me. And there was people jumping on the bandwagon and wanted to make this a commercial thing and make money out of it and what have you. And I had no fucking interest in any of that. Not one thing. The concern that I had was that Liverpool Football Club had been on the brink of, you know, and I know this is a thing that everyone that don't like FSG hate to hear. We were close to the possibility of administration. And there was such a distance between us and Manchester United at the time. We had this corner shop mentality in terms of our commercial end of things. We didn't branch out globally, which the market was there for us. But we were being left behind. And the last thing that I wanted personally was us to go to another club that had no idea of the culture, no idea, and people talk about culture. They had no idea of the culture, no idea of what Liverpool, the football club, meant to people, and no idea of our standards. And I think a lot of people lost sight of that because they were so exhausted from the whole Gillette and Hicks thing. So, of course, when they saw the likes of me and this group, we got slated. We got absolutely destroyed. And it took a massive toll on me mentally and on my family. It was horrific. And that's why if I see anyone starting up a channel, or if I know someone who knows someone who's starting up a channel, I will immediately go to them and say, this is what I did. These are the mistakes I made. This is what you got to be careful of. And I do that across the board, because I don't ever want to see someone go through what I went through.
No.
You know. And I probably should have left that channel probably 3 years into it, if I'm honest. You know, I think we raised some very good points. There's still a few people that come up to me and say, a fair play to you, Sean. There's still a few people that when the Super League, or there was the potential of the Super League, that people came up and said, well, why don't you start it back again? And I had no intention of doing it. Not one But I've always been skeptical of the owners, and I think it's natural and it's healthy to be skeptical of these owners because they're an outside source that are looking after our baby.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't we, before FSG, or whatever you want to call them, NSV, DIC came in for Liverpool as well, didn't they? Dubai International Capital.
Yeah.
And we turned them down. I wonder why that was.
There were a number of consortiums and people out there that offered a far better deal for Liverpool Football Club. And a decision was made against the group, and they went for NESV, New England Sports Venture, now FSG. And the documents that are there for public reading, or they were at the time, there was a court case. It's funny because like someone passed on the link to me and then wanted credit for the fact that they gave something that's already public to me to put out there. And of course, I, mentioned the fact that they sent it to me. But of course, you had the Empire, the cop that went on and said, well, Fenway We Come Out to Pay have leaked the documents, which we didn't leak them. They were there for public viewing. But the documents showed that there were better bids on the table. And Purslow, that was ahead of dealing with the takeover, said that this was the bottom of the barrel deal.
Strange, isn't it?
It was like, Gareth, I won't lie to you. There was some good stuff that came out of Fenway We Come Not to Pay, but mostly there was bad stuff. It was dreadful. It was dreadful. I was at my aunt's funeral and I was getting notification after notification after notification. My phone was buzzing because, of course, I had it on silent, and there was people trying to hack my account. It was this group in Oxford that were, targeting me. So, it was very, very difficult, and that's why I people talk about being advocates of mental health, and really they're just an advocate of their own, but don't care about other people. And I try and kind of, contact people and advise them. I think I gave you some advice. I had given Adam some advice. I'd given other people some advice on the dangers of YouTube and the dangers of putting yourself out there and what you say. And it was a very, very bad time for me personally. I was going through a very, very, very tough time, and unfortunately drink was involved as well. Luckily I nipped that in the bud before it became a bigger problem. But I used to go live with a few drinks on me, and I used to bloody tear it up like WWE, like as if I'm doing a promo. I'm going to get you, like it was, but I just was completely naive. And I mean, I have to thank Dunk, because Dunk was very supportive of me. He originally, when I was in all of that, he says, look, why don't you come over? And at the time, like I didn't think anything of it. And I didn't go over until 2 or 3 years later, or say 2 or 3 years ago, should I say. But, there were some good things. Like I'd done kind of Talk LFC, which is kind of a splinter group from Fenway We Come Out to Pay. It was kind of like, well, let's talk about football, and just kind of park the owners to one side. And again, when that imploded, and I decided, all right, I'm not doing YouTube ever again. I'm not doing it. I'm going to. I nearly fell out of love with football, Gareth, as a result of all of that, and a result of all the hassle that I got and I caused myself. And so I gave up YouTube. I could not bear to look at it. And of course, the one person that got to me was Dunk. I went on to Cop Talk, and again, I got myself involved in Saturday Night Steaming or Streaming, and that was where the birth of Seano's world famous quiz came up, and there was great banter there, and there was, you know, a good community, and you know, I went over for his 49th birthday, I think it was, myself and Martin and Brian and Laura, and that was grand. I mean, obviously, myself and Dunk had a little fallout, and we're okay now, and I'm delighted for him and his engagement. But as a result of Dunk, I obviously got to know Adam, and I'm particularly impressed with Adam, with the amount of research that he goes into, you know, in terms of players and players' agents and, you know, that kind of thing. His knowledge of football is incredible. I mean, he was a coach, and obviously he was a referee as well. So he has all that knowledge. And originally, actually, myself and Dunk, Martin, and Adam were going to do a podcast. And so when the whole thing blew up with myself and Dunk, that we won't mention, but I still love you, Dunk. I love you. But we ended up doing a Monday stream, and we had a bit of banter, and then we brought Seano's world famous quiz back. And I don't know how long I've been there, but you know, from that, then I became part of Frank Carlisle LFC, or Frank Carlisle Liverpool. And again, Frank is an absolute legend over in Liverpool, you know, from a historian point of view to someone that was on LFC TV, someone that was on Merseyside TV. And originally, when I had Fenway We Come Not to Pay, I think he reached out to me where he was going to do an interview with me, but he pulled it. And I saw him on YouTube, and I says, you know, Frank, you were meant to do a fucking interview with me. And with that, then I ended up on a show. I was there with George Scott, who was the last Shankly boy. You know, he was bought over by Shankly. So he has some fantastic stories, and a fantastic book written by him, along with Jeff Golding, who I got to know as well. And again, like I did about 9 hours a week with Frank from 2 shows. So I went literally from AKM to Frank shows, and I did about three days of stuff with him, from his football shows to, we did like a TV and movie review show, which I really enjoyed. And that was good fun. That was kind of me, kind of what, you know, putting my feet back in the water of YouTube. Again, you know, typical social media and YouTube spats and what have you. There was a fallout between Frank and myself. There's a misunderstanding more so than anything. I still have a lot of respect for Frank, and like, unfortunately, he thought that I stood him up. He invited me over, and there was a miscommunication because I was to go over. I was going home on the Saturday, and originally I was meant to go up to his to watch some of the game, and I had no idea. I you know, he's of senior years. I was going to, you know, bring a bottle of stout. I had actually got a lovely bottle of stout, and I was going to get some groceries if he needed, or a takeaway. Little did I know that he spent an absolute fortune that morning on groceries and a 4-course bloody meal. And I was like, Jesus Christ. But he made out that I stood him up. And the last thing that I would want to do is upset someone. And unfortunately, he doesn't speak to me, and whatever, that's fine. But I gained an awful lot of experience from that. And with AKM LFC, you know, I'm perfectly happy to take a step, you know, to work in the shadows because it's Adam's thing, and I would never go back to YouTube and have my own YouTube channel.
No.
Because and this is what I'm saying to you, Garrett, it's if you get a loyal viewing, whether it's 10, 300, 400 people, that means more than 13,000 subscribers that don't bother to look at your channel.
Exactly.
You know, and that's how I look at it. I mean, there wasn't many subscribers on Fenway We Come Not to Pay, and yet it made a lot of noise. A lot of noise, you know. So yeah, I mean, God, it's a good thing I don't have this on my LinkedIn profile, all of the experience I've had on YouTube, because, you know, mostly I have learned from mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, and as I said, I love to be part of AKM, LFC in the background, and if Adam wants me for anything, you know, but I'm very blessed to have made the friends I've made through this whole thing. Martin, who was we called the lone wolf because he was the only person that turned up to a bloody protest that we had organized. I've got to know his family. I've got to go over. I've spent time with his family. I've spent the night in his house. I've got to know his wife, their kids. Toby, who's an amazing guy. You know, he took me out the day that he was making his boxing debut. He took me out all over the place. We went for breakfast. We went around the Christmas markets, and then we went up to Warrington and, you know, did our thing, and then went back to Liverpool to watch him fight. So I'm blessed in terms of the people that I've met, including yourself, including Dunk, including Brian, and Lisa, and you know, and even the experience that I've had with Frank. It's certainly the guy is a fountain of knowledge, and we've had him on AKM LFC, and, you know, very entertaining guy, very knowledgeable guy. And obviously the talks that I've had with George Scott is incredible. And Jeff Golding, who was good enough to send me his book, Red Dawn, about Tom Watson,
Right.
who was the first coach to win a league title with Liverpool, who very rarely gets mentioned in Liverpool history, you know. But I've been blessed in that. But it took 7 years of absolute hell with Fenway We Come Not to Pay. You know, my view of the club and the owners has chopped and changed. I still think that we as a fan base should hold them accountable. I really do, because it's our baby.
Exactly.
You know, but that's. I don't know if you have any questions with regards to my YouTube history. It's a muddy one.
Well, I just want to thank you firstly. I mean, I didn't even want to talk. I just wanted to listen. I just found it fascinating. So I want to thank you for that. It can't have been easy.
No.
And you've done me a big favor by talking about that sort of thing, because not many people know the real story. I know you've told it on Adam's channel. So I want to thank you for that. And also I want to thank you for your time as well, because we've done over 3 hours now in total today.
Some good going, isn't
it? Some real going. So let's come away from some delicate things for you, and let's talk about something a little bit exciting to finish. So I want you to tell me your greatest Liverpool 11 and why you picked this 11.
So I basically have gone on stats, and I've gone on I suppose the fan base as a whole, and not necessarily just my opinion, but I think they should all be fairly obvious at this rate as to why I've picked them. So I think we were talking offline about who we have in goals, and again, some fantastic goalkeepers in Liverpool history. And it obviously you think of Alisson. I think he's nipped to the post, excuse the pun, by Ray Clemens.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I mean, Clemens played over 700 games, didn't he?
Yeah. So I think based on that longevity and what he achieved, and I think it goes to him.
Yeah,
it goes
I
to
agree
him.
with that. I mean, he won a lot more trophies, didn't he?
Yeah.
He won, what was it, 6 or 7 Division 1 titles and FA Cups, European Cups, 2 or 3, I think he won, didn't he? So
Yeah, I mean,
I would
there's
agree with that.
no doubt in, what he brought to the club. The other one, I mean, again, we've had some fantastic defenders, but you cannot take away from the most decorated player in Liverpool history, Phil Neal. You it would be a travesty not to have him in a lineup, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
The other one, again, I don't think you can. I mean, if you want leadership and if you want 2 strong centre backs that command the best out of the rest of the team, you can't go wrong with Alan Hansen and Virgil van Dijk.
Right.
You just can't.
There was another player I thought, because I've been thinking while we've been talking, and I think Emlyn Hughes could have been in there.
True.
Because he was a fantastic leader, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he could play anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, true. I mean, again, it's so hard to pick an 11.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you have a subs bench and say, well, but it's very, very hard to pick an 11 and, miss out or drop the likes of Hughes, so, I could change my mind on this if you ask me in a month's time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I just based on, I suppose, looking at it and thinking about this, the possible questions you could have asked me, I thought, well, if you're going to ask me the best Liverpool side and in the Premier League era, you're going to definitely ask me the best side in of all time. But I'm sticking with Alan Hansen and Virgil, because I remember Alan Hansen as a player, and you couldn't go wrong with him. You really couldn't. And obviously Virgil has the greatest respect for him, and obviously getting Alan Hansen to present the Premier League last season to him, says it all.
Yeah.
Again, left back was difficult, man. But I went with Alan Kennedy.
That's a good shout. Very good player.
Midfield. Now, I've had to kind of mix this up a bit and put in a player that often, played further forward in order to keep him in the best of all time, because I don't think that you can call the best of all time and not have him in it. And I'll mention him in a moment. So, of course, Stevie G has to be in there.
Yeah.
Has to be in there. Graham Souness has to be in there. And Kenny Dalglish has to be in there. And then up front, I don't think there's going to be any question over this. Ian Rush, John Barnes, and Mohamed Salah.
Wow. That's a strong team. That's a very strong team.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that I would would say would probably be Emily Hughes for me.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the reason I chose Emily Hughes is because my nana was actually best friends with his nana.
No.
So, and his grandson was my best friend at school.
You're serious. That's
Yeah.
mad.
So
Yeah.
his grandson's actually called Gareth as well.
No.
Yeah, Gareth Hughes is called.
That's mad.
So
I mean, I could definitely. I mean, if it, you know, I could definitely see him in the lineup, but it's a you know, it's a toss between Alan Hansen and himself, and you can't.
Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah, and Virgil van Dijk, and Virgil, I think, you know, you get some rival fans talking all sorts of shit and saying, oh, well, you know, he's the most overrated defender and he's no good and he's this and he's that. He's had one bad season in his whole career. One bad season, and that's this season.
Also, as well, wasn't Emlyn Hughes the captain when we won our first ever European trophy?
Yeah, he was the captain, yeah.
Yeah. So I think he's our only captain that's got 2 European trophies. I think I might be wrong. But I think he was captain in 76, or was it 77 and 78 or something like that?
Oh man, I'm
gonna have a quick look
because I don't want to say something and then be wrong and then get an absolute earache from people.
Right, so we'll put in how many times was Emlyn Hughes captain of Liverpool when we won the Europe? I'll just put European because it was different back then, wasn't it?
Yeah. Still all big ears.
Yeah, twice. So it says here, Emlyn Hughes, often referred to as Crazy Horse, was the Liverpool FC captain twice when they won the European Cup. Oh, I've got it bang on as well, Seano. 77 and 78.
Yeah. I was trying to think, was there another captain that had won it twice as well? And that's what I was trying to think.
I'm trying to think now. So we've won it 6 times, haven't we?
Yeah.
So you've got, I think Hansen has got
Hansen,
one.
I think.
2 for Hughes, 1 for Verge. No, not Verge. Henderson.
Stevie, of course. Jesus.
Stevie, yeah. Who's the last one?
Let's
go back.
Was Phil Thompson? Did Phil Thompson not? Was he not a captain?
Who were the Liverpool captains that won the European Cups?
Here's a summary from Liverpool FC. Cop 10 Cup lifting captains. Emlyn Hughes. Watch our Emlyn tribute. Sami Hyypiä. Steven Gerrard equals Graham Souness. Watch our Souness tribute. Phil Thompson. Tommy Smith. And more.
Phil Thompson, yeah. I knew it.
Oh, it's including Europa League as well.
Europa, yeah. But Phil Thompson, I remember lifting it up too.
Yeah, so you've got Emlyn Hughes was twice.
Mm-hmm.
Sami Hyypiä was the UEFA Cup, so that doesn't count.
Yeah.
Gerrard was the Champions League. Souness was the Champions League. Phil Thompson, what did he get? And then there's Tommy Smith on here as well.
Tommy Smith, yeah.
Some of them have got to be UEFA. They can't be all. Because you've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That can't be right. It says that there was 10 captains that lifted cups. So 4 of them have got to be Europa League.
Yeah.
So we've got Emlyn Hughes twice. Sami Hyypiä was the UEFA Cup. Steven Gerrard, that's 3. Graham Souness, that's 4. Phil Thompson, 5. And then Henderson, 6. So Tommy Smith was the UEFA Cup. Ron Yates, no, that doesn't count. That's FA Cup. Alan Hansen only won the FA Cup as captain.
He did or he didn't? I think he did, didn't he?
It says on here that he was only captain when we won the FA Cup.
Oh, yeah, he was, yeah.
I thought he was a captain when we won the Champions League. Can't be.
No.
Nah, you're going into FA Cups now. So Ronnie Whelan, captain for the FA Cup.
Ronnie Whelan,
Mark Wright, FA Cup.
My buddy.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
There
I
you
mean,
go.
it's so difficult to pick a starting, like the best of all time 11. It's because if you leave one out, you're like, well, hold on a second, why are you leaving that one out? You know?
Yeah.
But I loved Alan Hansen as well. He was, monster. So he was.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think I'm happy with that lineup.
Yeah, I would be happy with it. I mean, like I said, the only one I would change is Verge for Emlyn Hughes, but I am going to be slightly biased because, our families are sort of intertwined.
Yeah. I think even if you did that or change Alan Hansen with Hughes, I think it'd be a good shout. But I don't know. I think Virgil,
he did a lot, didn't he, when he came in 2018? He changed so much.
I think he was the game changer. And
Yeah,
that's why, Garrett, I think it's so important that we do our business and do our business right in terms of our central defenders, especially when it's coming up to, do we give Virgil another contract or not, or is he going to see out this one and walk into the sunset? I don't know, but it's
I think if he wants to stay, I'd probably give him another year just to help get him a jacket and Leone before he goes.
But it's such a gamble with those two. I mean, Leone, he was great in his debut up until he got the injury.
Yeah.
But it's such a fucking gamble, man. I mean, Gahey would have just hit the ground running because he's that experienced. And I think we're going to regret that.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
We're going to regret that.
But there is a lot of rumours about that Slotterbeck. I think he'd be a good signing.
I heard someone mention that. I don't know, but I'm absolutely distraught the fact that we dropped the ball on the Gahey thing. As I said, I was not even 24 hours after my back surgery, I was like, I need to get onto AKM. I was because Adam said to the channel, he said, Sean will be gone for a while, but knowing Sean, he'll want to come back. He'll go through cold turkey and he'll want to do a video or whatever. And literally, I was recording a video and I says, Adam, put that up. I was fuming. I was absolutely fuming. But, there's a lot of uncertainty at the club. The whole thing with Slot. You were going to ask me who do I want to replace?
Yes. Do you think it'll be Alonso?
I'm hoping it will be. Now, in saying that, let me put a disclaimer out there. I never want anyone that decides to put on a Liverpool jersey or anyone that decides to coach Liverpool to fail.
No.
And Slot will always have my backing as long as he's coach. But with that said, he's not immune from criticism. And there's only so much that the credit of winning a league title gets you. And he wouldn't be the first coach, the title-winning coach, that would be sacked or his contract not renewed. No. So I don't want to see him fail, but I can't see him turn it around. I think
No,
he's
I
too
can't.
stubborn. So I'd go for Alonso, but I would almost. I mean, Nagelsmann. I think Adam mentioned. You could see Glasner fecking maybe taking it.
Yeah, it'd
Don't
be a
know.
good shout.
You
The
just
only
don't
worry
know.
I've got with Alonso is, could he work as a head coach? He'd want some power. I don't know if he could work with Michael Edwards and not have a say in, who brought in the club, because I honestly don't believe that Arne Slot brought them players in last summer. He might have said, I'd like them, but did he really say, go and get them?
Well, you see, that's if you remember when Brendan Rodgers got sacked and we were looking for a replacement for Rodgers, or let's say an improvement on Rodgers. Jesus Christ, I saw him in that clip in Saudi Arabia with the, honest to God, that guy's like the David Brent of football. Sweet suffering, Jesus. The big bloody grin on him. Oh, fucking hell. Anyway, the less said about him, the better.
To be fair, though, if I was getting his wages, I'd have that big bloody grin on my face as well.
Oh, so would I. But I mean, like, to have a house and a portrait of himself, a painting of himself in the house. Good luck. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's and for a player to go up to him, I know I'm getting off the subject a bit, but for a player to go up to him, giving out about not getting his game, and then him pointing at his Gucci belt. Honest to God, he's David Brent. He's David Brent. I know Frank Carlisle can't stand him, can't even mention his name. Poor Frank. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, when they were looking to replace Rodgers, when they gave him the sack, Carlo Ancelotti was up for running, up for the job, and they didn't give it to him because he was looking for, this is what I want to spend.
Yeah.
Where Jurgen was all about development and he wasn't about spending a shitload of money, and I know that there's kind of like criticism over what we spent with Darwin Núñez, but this was money that we accumulated from the sales of players. But that's why Ancelotti didn't get it and Klopp did. Now, thankfully, we got Klopp, and amazing work that he did. And if he had more financial backing, maybe he could have done a whole lot more. But in terms of Edwards, it's becoming the norm that there's a sporting director. It's not like the days of a coach or a manager saying, I want this player, give me the money, that's it. I think those days are over. So I think with the experience that Alonso had with Real Madrid and the politics and that, I think he'd be well able for the job. And I think the style of football that he'd play, I think, would work for Frimpong, would work for Wirtz, and would work for Ekitike. And what he does with Isak, God knows.
The only problem we've got is he plays three at the back, doesn't he? He plays 3-5-1-2 or something like that, is it?
Yeah, but if you look at the way we're playing at the moment, the majority of the time, when I see the lineup, because we play so high up and we commit ourselves, and you have like now either Jones or Szoboszlai as a rotating right back, you do pretty much get three in defense.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't necessarily think it's going to be a massive change in terms of, if we did have three at the back.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that he doesn't play three at the back, but I'm hoping he plays attractive football, fast-paced football that we've seen before. We go back to the 80s. I mean, the style of football, the fast-paced one touch, the awareness of where your teammate is, that's lacking now at the moment.
Yeah.
There's no sense of awareness, and the team seems very disjointed. So if Alonso can fix those problems, brilliant.
He'd be my pick, I think. I think, like you say, any of them three, I think would be brilliant. Nagelsmann would probably be my number 3. I would probably go Alonso, Glasner, then Nagelsmann out of them 3.
Well, I don't know whether Adam was joking with me when he mentioned Amarin. I nearly fecked me shoe at the laptop when he mentioned.
He's got to be winding you up. There's no way he'd have an ex-United manager at Liverpool.
Has to be winding us up. My God, you know. But he must have been. But I at the moment, I think Alonso. I mean, he's out of work. It doesn't look like he wants to get back into work until after March. So it looks like we've made our decision to stick with Slot for that period of time. I don't know whether it's feasible for him to keep the job. I think you're probably looking at having to win the Champions League. And if we struggle against Nottingham Forest, I can't see us winning the Champions League. You know, I got absolutely destroyed online there because myself and Adam did a prediction for the remaining games. So out of 33 points, I reckon we get 14. Adam reckons we get 15.
Right.
So that leaves us with 59 points or 60 points, which would, at last season, which would have got us 9th. And I got absolutely destroyed. And what I'm basing all of that on is our performance, is the way that we're set up, is our injuries, and just the way we've been playing all season.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Adam's wrong.
Did you see the Champions League draw?
We're, I think, going to get Atletico, is it? Or we're close to...
I think it's off. Is it
Atletico?
Atletico or Galatasaray, I think it was.
Yeah. I don't know
That'll be a tough game, that.
Both of them would be.
Yeah.
Both of them.
They still got a game to play or something. Is that why it's one of the other?
I think so. I to be honest with you, I don't know how the bloody Champions League works nowadays with the new setup. It's like,
I'll just be glad when it gets to the last 16. At least we know the drill then.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at last season, for Christ's sake, we were on top of the league or whatever, and we ended up facing PSG.
I know, that's weird, that, isn't it?
There was no real advantage of being top in terms of money, yes, but you know, I think it's the suits that are ruining football with all of these decisions and all of these, you know, extra games is crazy, you know.
Yeah, it is. Too much shit going on in football.
Well, as an Irishman, you know, with the Nations League, unfortunately, we have been drawn with Israel, and there's holy upheaval in Ireland regarding that, and the FAI and the government decided to go ahead with that. So it's, you know, if you're banning Russia for what happens in the Ukraine, and you're not banning, I don't want to be getting into politics, but UEFA are just hypocrites and have left us in a difficult position. FIFA, you know, the decisions aren't made from footballers or people that know football. It's all down to money and TV rights, and it's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything now, mate. So is there anything you want to talk about or push before we go?
Well, I want to give a big shout out to Sean Leonard Art, who is sponsors for AKM LFC. Fantastic artist, an Irishman, someone that I bought a load of stuff from. A load of my friends have bought stuff and have framed it and put it up on their walls. It's that good. But he has kindly offered spot prizes each month, and anyone that has got an illustration from him have been just blown away by how amazing he is. He does other stuff other than Liverpool, but one of our main subscribers, well, his name is Martin, but he calls himself Muscusi. He won a Diego Jota illustration on Diego's birthday.
Wow.
And he was just completely taken aback and moved. So Sean Leonard, thank you very much for everything. And, on behalf of AKM and our subscribers, they're absolutely delighted with the winners are absolutely delighted. And I'm sure our VIP members, are hoping that they'll be picked out in our monthly draws. But yeah, a big shout out to them. And again, a big shout out to Dunk from Cop Talk, despite whatever little spats we've had in the past. Frank, I'd like to give a shout out to, and anything that I have said, I hope he doesn't take offense to. I'm just telling it how it is, and I have the greatest of respect for him. I really do. And I'm glad to see that his channel is over 1,000 subscribers. It should be a lot more, in fairness. And a big shout out to George Scott. Big shout out to Jeff Golding, who was very kind to send me on his latest book, which I have read, and it's an amazing book. And I'm hoping to have him on the show at some stage to talk about it. Red Dawn, The Ballad of Tom Watson and Liverpool's First Champions. Really, really good book. I definitely would advise you to have a read of it, Gareth. Yeah. And that's about it, I think. I don't think I've missed anyone else. If I have, I do apologise. Yeah.
I think the only person there you mentioned to me you wanted to talk about was Martin's rugby team, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot about that. Jesus. So, yeah, Martin is doing fantastic things since Fenway we come not to pay, thankfully. He's now one of the head coaches of Ryland Sharks under 11s. And we've had the opportunity on their 130th birthday to be sponsor. So I have like a red bubble shop, SD Designs 2020. So I sponsor Rylands, and then of course Adam, AKM LFC sponsors. So we sponsor the home jersey, the training top, and then they have like a training jersey. Then they have like a training top where Seano's world famous quiz sponsors them, an AKM LFC. So we're delighted to be part of something that funds a rugby league team that don't get funding from the government, or you get very little funding from the government, but it supports youngsters, in a sport when, today's generation get an awful lot of slagging that they're stuck on their phones, stuck on their laptops. And again, parents get an awful slating as well. There's Martin, who's dedicating time to coach his son. Both, I think, two of his sons, I think, are with Rylands, but one in particular, Harley, who will be at the Legends game. He's playing in the team, and I'm very, very proud of Martin and what he's doing there, because it's a fantastic thing, and the amount of effort that Martin and Gemma have put into this. I know I can speak on behalf of myself and Adam that we're absolutely thrilled to be part of it and to support it, and hopefully we'll continue to do that when it's under 12s and under 13s and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's really exciting, and it's something that is kind of branched out from the association that we have with AKM LFC. That friendship, is not bound by your YouTube channel. And that's the great thing about AKM LFC and even Cop Bites of Anfield and even Cop Talk, that this is all stemmed from. So a big shout out to them. And sorry, I almost forgot, a big congratulations to Dunk and his future Mrs. DKB. Like, I'm absolutely thrilled for him. I'm absolutely, because I know that myself and Dunk have had quite a lot of laughs about our dating experiences, and especially me bringing up after having a date and talking about my food list and everything. But you know,
I remember that.
Like, honest to God, it was. I mean, I missed those days. So reinstate Seano into Cop Talk, but Saturday Night Steaming was so funny, and obviously you have a few drinks and you have a few words are misunderstood and whatever, but I still have the greatest respect for Dunk and what he's doing on his channel. He's obviously full time, but I'm fucking delighted that he's found himself a woman, and that he's been able to get rid of that canvas in the bloody kitchen, because I was just going to superimpose myself onto David Hasselhoff with the puppies thing, and just send that on to him. But I'm delighted he's got rid of that, and I'm delighted that he's found himself a woman, and that they can settle down and have a lovely life. So
yeah, I agree with all of that, mate. Congratulations to Dunk. Congratulations to Martin. Thank you for your time. It's been over 3.5 hours.
It's crazy.
And I shall speak to you very soon, mate.
Absolutely, Gareth. Thank you so much.
Take it easy.
See you now.